have never had focaccia like this before, I guarantee it. This is my blueberry lemon sourdough focaccia. It is a sweet treat or a nice little breakfast, perfect for brunch. It's got blueberries all throughout the dough. It's got lemon zest, and it has a blueberry muffin crumb topping. So good, so delicious. I'm Amy from amybakespread.com. You can find this recipe there on my website. Come with me, let's make it together. Any day is a good day when I'm making blueberry lemon sourdough focaccia. Gotta tell you, I love this recipe. I just printed it off of my website. You can find it on amybakespread.com. Go grab it, print it off, and follow along with me. We're gonna start out with our sourdough starter. Now, I fed this last night, so that it was right, bubbly, and active, ready for me this morning. Now, the recipe actually has you make a levain. That's the first step in it, but you can always substitute levain for right, bubbly, active sourdough starter if you have it on hand, especially if you are constantly maintaining your starter. If your starter's been in the fridge for a week, definitely do the levain method. We'll just make sure that your starter is bubbly, active, and ripe. But because I've been feeding my starter so much on the counter and it is so active, so strong, I'm just using sourdough starter in place of the levain in this recipe. You can do either one. Either one works. Don't let that step confuse you, okay? We're gonna start by pouring our bubbly active starter into this container. I'm using a container today instead of a bowl. Sometimes I like to do that with focaccia recipes, especially when I'm gonna be doing coil folds that I'm like lifting up and turning. I think that these containers work really nicely for that. I'm gonna go ahead and tare my scale. I definitely recommend you do use a scale. I know that can be hard sometimes to make that transition mentally, but this is a high hydration recipe. That means there's a lot of water in it. And you may not know how the dough should feel if you're using cups. So that's why I recommend a scale. I do have the cup measurements listed as well if that feels better for you. Okay, we're gonna add in our sourdough starter. 120 grams. A little more. If you go a little over or a little under, that's okay. It's not gonna make or break your bake. At this point, I can stick this back in my fridge, or I can feed it and use it for another bake again, or I could use the rest of this in something else. The possibilities are endless with sourdough. We're gonna add in our water. So I tare my scale again, and I'm adding in 400 grams of water. The temperature of the water that you choose is going to impact how quickly your dough is going to rise. So I always recommend a temperature around 78 degrees. That's my preference. If you go to my website, you can actually find a baker's schedule that goes along with this recipe, and it will tell you when all of the steps about when they should be ready to be done based on the temperature. So that's really helpful as well if you can maintain that temperature. It doesn't mean your house needs to be 78 degrees. I mean, my house is not almost ever that temperature. My house gets colder in the winter, much colder, and warmer in the summer. Probably says something about our heating and cooling system. But so I don't ever say like your house has to be that temperature, but the water can be that temperature. And you can find a way to keep your dough warm, a warm appliance, stick it in the oven with the light on. You may have to kind of go back and forth with that a little bit to make sure it's not going too high. A handy kitchen thermometer is going to help you so much. Grab one. I stick it in my dough all the time to just be like, what temperature is that really? Okay, we're going to add in our sugar. This is a little bit of a sweeter focaccia. It has this most incredible like blueberry muffin crumble on the top of it. And so I just add a little sugar into the dough to give it a little bit of sweetness. I wouldn't say that it's overly sweet, like the dough itself. The glaze on top and the crumb topping is what give it more of its sweetness. So if you wanted to like leave those out completely and just have a slightly pleasant sweet blueberry focaccia, you could do that as well. Okay, we're gonna put in our salt also. I just use a table salt. And let's see, what else do we have? We're gonna add lemon zest. So this gives that pleasant, lemony, citrusy, just delicious flavor. I love the lemon in here. It's a little pop of lemon, and then you add on the lemon glaze, and that's where you really get like that sharp lemon. So the actual inside of this focaccia dough is not like super lemony, but it's like a mellow, pleasant lemon flavor. I think you could probably add some lemon oil or something, or like a lemon extract maybe into this. I don't know if that would affect the fermentation, but with such a small amount, I think it might be worth a try if you wanted more lemon flavor. So I'm doing the zest of 2 lemons in here. I love this lemon zester. I use this all the time. I use it for ginger, limes. Honestly, this gets used a lot in my kitchen. So zester just can add so much good flavor to your food and your baked goods. Okay, get all the zest that comes in the bottom of the zester too. Off it goes. And we're gonna mix that up together. Now it's time to add our flour. We're using bread flour. You could do an all-purpose flour with this. You just may want to decrease some of the water in the dough a little bit. I'd hold back maybe 20, 25 grams of water if you're using an all-purpose flour. Bread flour has a higher protein content, so it can absorb more water, and it makes it more chewy, a dough that rises more, I guess, higher, chewy crumb. If you have bread flour, I recommend you use it. All right, we're just gonna mix this up. It's gonna form a shaggy dough. Once all the flour is hydrated, then I go around here. I love this little tool, and I just get into the edges just to get all of those last little bits of flour. But you can see how pretty sticky this dough is. Okay, it's just a shaggy dough. We're gonna cover it and keep it warm, again, that 78 degrees. And then we're going to come every 30 minutes and give it some gentle folds. And I'm gonna show you that whole process. It's really simple, really easy. So if you have, 10 minutes to mix this dough up, you could be eating an incredible focaccia the next morning for breakfast or tonight for dessert. All right, we're gonna cover it up. Oh, I wanted to check the temperature really quick. It's just so that I know about what temperature it is. Okay, we are at 76, so I definitely wanna, bring this up a little bit. I like about a 78 degrees. And so I'm gonna put this in my bread proofer and let it warm at 78 degrees for about 30 minutes, and then we'll come check in on it. It has been 30 minutes. Look at how this goes. Oh, when I took the lid off, I am smelling that lemon. It smells so good. All right, got my hands a little bit damp. We want to just kind of release the dough from the edges here. I'm gonna go around and do that. And then we're gonna do our first set of coil folds, which I like doing this with a higher hydration dough. You reach down and you just pull up. You do not want it to tear. So I can tell this is gonna start tearing, so I'm dropping it. I'm gonna turn the dough. I'm gonna pull up again. Don't want it to tear, but I do want it to release from the bottom if it can. I'm gonna drop it back down. Turn again. If it starts to tear a little bit, it's okay, but just release it and move on with your next set of folds. Okay, the goal is to get the dough kind of all together in one mass in the center, so that you're just building the gluten little by little doing this. You can see that that is tearing a little bit. So I'm just being very, very extra gentle, and that's telling me, okay, you better stop. So I'm gonna stop there, and we're gonna cover this up and come back to it in 30 minutes. It's been another 30 minutes. We're gonna take this out and do our second set of coil folds. I got my hands a little bit damp. I like to loosen it just a little bit around the edges. You can see how this is already looking really nice. I lift up in the middle, put it back down, turn, lift up, let it fall back down. This is what we mean by a coil, when we lift up and it kind of coils like this. That's why it's called a coil fold. Just getting it nice and strengthening up those gluten strands. Now I'm gonna cover this. We're gonna wait another 30 minutes and then we're gonna add the blueberries at the next coil fold. Getting my hands wet. We're on set number 3 of our coil folds. I'm gonna add my blueberries right on top. And we're gonna go ahead and coil fold them in. I don't want the berries to burst open at this point. I'd rather have that happen when they bake because I don't want any extra juices in here. That's why we add them in when we did. And we're gonna give it one more set of folds in another 30 minutes. Last set of coil folds. Get my hands wet just a little bit. We really want to kind of work those blueberries in at this point. So if you've got any out there, and just try to kind of put them back in, work them in a little bit, and you can see some of them kind of coming through there. Actually, sometimes we'll like turn it over and put them in here too. If there are ones that are still sitting out, you can just add them to the top of the dough. So I wouldn't worry about it too much as you stretch and fold, or sorry, as you coil fold this dough. We're just giving it a last little bit of strength, working in any last bits of blueberry. We're gonna cover it and let it rise for another probably hour and a half to 2 hours. All right, it has been another couple of hours. Look at how this is puffing up. I'm seeing that this is starting to rise. It's jiggly, it's doming. There's a few little bubbles throughout. It's starting to dome a little bit and it's starting to fill up this container. So this is ready for me to stick into a pan and then let it really rise again before I dimple it and top it and bake it. I have here a 9x13 pan. This is what we're gonna bake this focaccia in today. And if you don't have a metal nonstick pan, line your pan with some parchment paper, okay? We're gonna put some oil down on the bottom. It's about 40 or 50 grams of oil, maybe about a quarter cup or so. I like to liberally oil the bottom of the pan. This is where the bottom of the dough gets so nice and crispy, and I love that. So I just make sure that the entire pan is oiled. And we're going to, oh, one other thing. This is a really light tasting olive oil. When you're doing a sweet focaccia like this, always want to use a lighter flavored olive oil because it's not going to give that like super olivey taste. So I would highly recommend to use a light olive oil. Okay, and then in it goes, right into the pan. I saw some berries coming out there, so I'm gonna flip it over because I'd prefer to have more dough on the bottom and less berries if possible, and just pull it out a little bit. This is going to be topped, remember, with a crumb topping, with more blueberries, and then with a glaze. So it definitely has a lot still that's gonna be happening. So I'm gonna spread out some of these berries a little bit that popped out. We're gonna cover this up and let it rise a couple more hours until we're able to really come in and dimple the dough. If I were to try to bake it right now, it would just be a little underproofed. It needs to really rise a little bit more, get nice and big and puffy, then we'll be able to dimple it up and bake it. While our focaccia is rising, I'm gonna make the crumb topping really fast. It's really simple, really easy. Just some butter, some brown sugar, flour, little pinch of salt, and a sprinkle of cinnamon, which is optional, but I enjoy the cinnamon flavor. Okay, then we're just gonna take our fingers. This is softened butter, so it should be really soft like this. We're just gonna mix it up together. You're just working in all that butter to the flour, and it makes this little crumb topping that's gonna go all on top of this blueberry lemon focaccia, and it's kind of like the streusel on top of a muffin. So if you like blueberry muffins with a crumb topping, that's basically what this is that we're making right now. Just that little crumb topping that can go on the top there. We're gonna set that aside while our focaccia dough is rising, and I'm gonna mix up the glaze too, just so we've got that ahead of time. Okay, that looks really good. The glaze is just gonna be some powdered sugar, some lemon juice, this is where you get that bright lemon flavor from, and a little bit of vanilla extract. Powdered sugar, lemon juice, I love freshly squeezed. You can always add a little more or a little more powdered sugar depending on how runny you want it. Little sprinkle of salt, pinch of salt. And then you guys know I love vanilla bean paste. So I'm doing a little vanilla bean paste, but you could do vanilla extract as well. We're just gonna mix that together. This is gonna be this beautiful, bright, citrusy lemon glaze that goes all over the top of that focaccia and really makes it taste delicious. Now, I would not add this on until you're ready to serve it. So if you bake this focaccia ahead of time, go ahead and you can whisk up this glaze, keep it in the fridge, and then when you're ready to serve your focaccia, warm it up and drizzle the glaze on top. This is the perfect fun recipe for like a brunch or even like a girls' night or anything. So good, especially if it's blueberry season. All right, beautiful glaze. We're gonna set that aside and wait for our focaccia to be ready to bake. All right, my blueberry lemon focaccia. This looks so good. It's jiggly. It has risen, it's filled out this pan. It's ready for me to top with my crumb topping. I'm gonna add some extra blueberries on top too, and then we're gonna bake it up. Okay, I had quite a bit of extra oil in here. So I'm just getting a little bit from the edges. But I'm going to spread some melted butter on the top and then the crumb topping and then some blueberries. All right, on goes our melted butter. I like doing a combination of butter and oil with a sweet focaccia like this. I'm just gonna spread it out on the top a little bit and do a little bit of the, oh my goodness, dimpling just a bit. We're gonna add in the rest of this. Crumb topping, just all over the top. This makes it really taste like a little bit of a blueberry muffin. And then we did reserve a little bit of the blueberries in the recipe so that we could add them on top as well. So you get just a little extra kick of blueberry, which I love that little pop of blueberry. Oh, that looks incredible. We're gonna bake this at 425 degrees and let it bake for about 25 minutes. It'll be all crispy but super soft in the middle.
Whoa, that's cool.
Oh, beautiful. Oh. Listen to that oil bubbling. The bursting blueberries. Guys, this is beautiful. Look at this gorgeous, gorgeous focaccia. I'm gonna pull it out. It's cooled down, and I'm pulling it out now to put on the lemon glaze that we made. This just adds that pop, that little bit of drizzle, pop of flavor, lemon flavor. It's so good. Oh, one of my all-time favorites for the spring. So pretty. If you make this for a brunch, a baby shower, just for family getting together or friends, it will be the hit of your gathering, I guarantee you. Look at how gorgeous. Totally want to cut into this. Oh my goodness. This is phenomenal. One of my good friends sent me a message that she made this for a book club or a gathering. She says, everybody raved about it. It was gone. Everybody ate it. And I know why, because it's that bright pop of blueberry, the tangy lemon, the crispy outside, but like the super soft middle, not overly sweet in the middle. Just so good. I know you're gonna love it. Go make it.